headed to work. This should be interesting. Never made a video headed to work, but really wanted to get this list done. So here we are. I think we're gonna have to go a little quicker this time because I only have the car ride to work and more, and my car is all frozen over. I don't even know how, it's 40 degrees out right now, so but here we go. Without further ado, let's do 30 to 21. And like I said, previous video, I'm pretty excited about this. Video. So yeah, let's start it off with number 30, which is Halo. Halo 1. Yeah, I played a lot of Reach, and I really enjoyed Reach. Definitely my favorite multiplayer out of the bunch. But it always, a lot of my thinking goes back to, would I return to the game? And I liked Reach's storyline, but I was always more a fan of the Flood, and the truly, more so things that are completely out of our realm in science fiction. When it comes down to, I guess, Halo, that's where I am, because you know, this is just one fantasy or sci-fi world that I enjoy. But yeah, Halo 1, got it on Xbox way back in the day, and really loved, you know, it was one of my first games on Xbox that I played, this along with Battlefront, and I enjoyed both. I really did. They were both excellent games. And then I think the next year, the year following, we got Fable, and yeah, the Xbox was a great console. I think if I made a top 100, you'd see a lot more Xbox games in there. But Halo is obviously one of the definitive Xbox games, but over time, again, it's dropped. But for that campaign, and for some of the moments in that campaign, playing it with friends, really good moments, really. Next is 29, which is Death's Door. I believe this is one of the first, if not the first, Switch game on this list. Oh, Splatoon 3. But this is the first single player, and it's a quick game. I didn't know what to expect when I bought it, and I think that was the reason I enjoyed this one so much, is I didn't know what to expect. I love Hyper Light Drifter, and I love the combat in it, and that obviously was influenced by Zelda and whatnot, but it was so quick, quick and fluid, and Death's Door just continued that. This Tunic and Hyper Light Drifter all kind of share these same kind of mechanics, so it's cool to kind of play what I would call an unofficial trilogy in those three games. And Death's Door is, yeah, I still remember the boss battles, which are incredible, and overall, just yeah, great game, Death's Door. Next is Sekiro. Yeah, Bloodborne was my first foray into FromSoft. I had played Demon's Souls and I played Dark Souls, but I was never good at them. And then I played Bloodborne and understood the formula. And then my buddy ended up playing it years later, some of these games, and I was pulling the same kind of premises. Once you get good at the formula, and once you get good at one of them, it'll grow on you, and you'll end up being good at the other ones. Sekiro, to me, was the most challenging. I beat it twice, but man, I don't even know if I beat it twice, honestly, when I think about it. I think I got pretty far into the second playthrough. But the problem with these games is if you drop them, you have to learn them all over again, and so you really have to dedicate. This is the only game I'm going to be playing, and sometimes it leads into you're going to be playing it for a long time because you want to do New Game Plus and all that. But I was happy that I played Sekiro overall. Yeah, and my buddy pointed out, arguably the best part of the game is when you come back to a certain spot and it's all taken over by the enemy. They're killing it was when he brought that point up. I had agreed, because that point hit me probably the hardest too. Is sometimes in these games you beat a certain boss and then it triggers something and it has an effect on the world, and I think that's the best part that FromSoft offers, is that ability to change the world, and as in turn change you as a player, because it was, to me, the most memorable part as well. So yeah, these next two games coincide very well. It defines me in high school. I think these two games are probably, besides Gears of War, are probably the two games that I remember me in high school playing, and they got a lot of praise at the time, and they have just got more praise since. And I got them the day they came out, back in May 18th, I believe. And I would like to say 2011, but it could be 2010. But yeah, so the first one is Alan Wake. Alan Wake is a game that I looked at all the promotional videos. They showed the gameplay, they showed the world, they showed the characters. They did such an amazing job with the promotional videos. And same thing with the game following. I ended up getting a strategy guide. I was fully invested in this game. I ended up getting all the achievements. But it went further than that. It introduced me to the Codes of the Fall, which I thoroughly enjoyed as a band. And the game just all came together for this nice kind of all-in-one package. I think Alan Wake it had everything in the original package, and it was a great package to unfold. And I don't think I would play today. I beat it so much as a kid, really. I was 17 or 18, and I played it non-stop. I tried to play it again, and I was like, dude, I just remember playing this to death. And I think that's what drops these games so much further than they originally were, was me reflecting on them and being like, I just want to play them today, sorry. But at the time, yeah, these were my favorite games. This and the next game, and Fable, and a game soon that you'll see, they were all these action adventure third person games, so it was kind of easy to see what I enjoyed back then. But I didn't have a huge profile of games to choose from, and now I do. And these games go further down just because I'm just not that person anymore. So my next game is Red Dead Redemption 1. I chose to play this over Alan Wake at the time because I never realized how big of a game it was. I knew it was Rockstar, but it wasn't until a few months later I was looking up game news, and it was like, oh, it sold this many millions, and I was like, holy shit. And then people started picking it up in school, and everyone was playing it. But I kind of tuned out the noise this time. I didn't have social media at this time, or maybe I did, but I didn't use it all the time. I don't have it anymore, thank God. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption, I remember playing the online. I remember raiding a fortress with some random people online, some of my friends. It was 8 of us versus the 8 people in the fortress. I gave them all albino buffaloes, and we ran towards the fortress, and then we all just got mowed down. But nobody was mad. Everyone was having a fun time, and it was a great experience playing the online. And the story, there's standout moments that stuck with me. I beat it, I believe, 3 times. 2 on the 360, and I rebought it on the PS3. But again, I don't think I would play this again today. But for those memories, it's taken that spot. The next one is Star Ocean, Second Story R for the Switch. Yeah, this game, without it goes without saying, it reminded me of playing Sega and N64 with my brother and my sister. Having a game with secrets. I didn't look up, any walkthroughs or anything, so the team that I got was the team that I got, and I thought that was really cool. I think this game only has the ability to go up the list rather than down with further playthroughs and unlocking different party members. But that first playthrough was so much fun. And, it's a game that you can break, and I miss that. I like breaking games because then you can just really, break the game for a part of the game, and then just enjoy the story and lay back a little bit and enjoy the rest. And right down to the combat, the music, the characters, Star Ocean's got it all. That is, dude, it still holds up. And I think it came out in 1998 originally, so yeah, definitely play this one again. And like I said, it only has had to go up. So now we have Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter 2 for the 360. This is my go-to tactical shooter, no doubt about it, Ghost Recon in general. But I haven't played the new ones. I actually stopped here. But I played Ghost Recon 2 a lot as a kid for the original Xbox. And then Advanced Warfighter. And then Advanced Warfighter 2 I played way more than the first one. And I got into the story. I had a medic, and he took an injury during one of the missions, and I didn't know how to get him back, and if you even could. And it was towards the end of the game. It was like losing a guy who had your back, especially the medic. It was so sad. But it was like the Black Hawk Down mission. Those missions are underrated. The story was underrated. Man, this is my favorite Tom Clancy game without a doubt. I wish it came out on some kind of console again, but never had the ability to play it again, so man, I miss this game. So next is Metroid Dread. Metroid Dread, yeah, I do love Metroid. I've only played 3 of them. This, Zero Mission, Fusion. But Fusion's so incredible that when you bring Dread into the picture and it's a continuation of Fusion, I mean, what more can someone who loves Fusion ask for? And Dread, I always say this, but it's arguably the most precise game I've ever played. As far as gameplay goes, it's arguably the best game of all time. I don't know how they managed to cramp it into this nice 2D diorama, but oh man, Dread is perfect gameplay. So next is Dishonored. Never did some of the runs I always wanted to, the no kill run and certain other runs. But I remember looking at this game during basic training. I went to the mall after we graduated, and I picked up a Game Informer. I didn't have a smartphone at the time, and I saw this in the review section, which I would always do. I always liked Game Informer, and I believe it got an 8.75. I believe it did, because I think it garnered a silver rating. And I looked at the thing, I read the review, I was like, man, I need to pick this game up when I get home. And then I picked up a smartphone finally, back in 2012. And then I ordered it on GameStop or on Amazon or something. And then when I got home, it was there waiting for me. And I was able to play it. Thoroughly enjoyed that game. And then I beat it a few more times. It's one of my most owned games. I have it on PC, Xbox, PS4, PS3, and I beat it, I believe, on every single system that I owned it on. So yeah, Dishonored was a great game. It's definitely something I would go back to if it ever came out on Switch. And finally, at the tail end of this list is Shovel Knight, final game on this list. I picked this game up on a whim on Steam. Again, didn't realize how big it was, or how big it was to become. And I never really played these games too often, these 2D platformers, in the same vein as kind of Mega Man. But I gobbled this game up. Yeah, I remember getting to the Triple King and just being like, this game is a masterpiece. The Triple King is what sold me on it. And then it came out with all the DLCs, and I never actually beat any of the DLCs because I beat Shovel Knight so much and got all the achievements in the base game that I was kind of all shoveled out at that point. But again, same with Star Ocean. These are games that I will still own on the Switch. You know, I sold a lot of my games, but a lot of these games that, you know, are like a lot of these games that I could do another run, or you know, they're just such good games. I'm not gonna get rid of them on Switch. Now my list on Switch is all games that I own. Like I own, but I beat them as well, and that's a big reason for my Switch collection dropping down, because I would start a game, not finish it, and then it's just waiting there, and I'm like, it just kind of gave me stress thinking about playing it, because you know, so I sold all those games, and now I just have the games that I beat. I plan on playing again, and really cement those games as, you know, some of my favorites. But that's all for today. I hope you enjoyed, and really enjoyed making this part of the list, because these are games that mean a lot to me, especially, you know, those 360 games, that, especially Alan Wake and Red Dead, are games that really meant a lot to me when I was younger, and it's cool to reflect on them. And it's crazy how much these games drop as you play new games and you grow as an individual. And my tenure as a gamer definitely has gone down a lot. I don't play games nearly as much, but when I do, I focus on them a lot more. I realize that you have to put time in to really enjoy them and beat them. So again, happy that you joined me, and I'll see you next time.